Does everybody in your team have the same understanding of how you operate and how your business runs? Well, if not, then the Swimlane diagram might be the tool for you. My name is Benjamin. I'm an entrepreneur and fractional COO and work with clients on their operations. One of my favorite tools, one of the most used tools that I have in my toolkit is the Swimlane diagram. So why do you need a Swimlane diagram? Well, in the reality, the CEO often has an idea of what they think the process looks like when what the team executes often is something very different. So first of all, you got to align that understanding to make any meaningful changes, process improvement, etc. Secondly, if you want to use automation or AI to run your process, then you need to have a clear step-by-step logic of how this process runs. Thirdly, as you improve your business, as you grow, as you scale, and you want to improve processes, you got to have a basis for improvement. So if nothing is documented, there's no place to collect continuous improvement and to really build up an excellent process. So you need a place to document that. And lastly, really, it's about alignment. Get everybody on the same page. What's the expectation? Where do handoffs happen? Identify waste, identify over processing, etc. So what does a swimlane diagram do? It basically shows you how work flows through your team across all different stakeholders, both internally and if you want to externally, as we'll see in a second. So if you stay around, I'll walk you through how to use a swim lane diagram and how to map your process doing it. And a disclaimer, I'm going to walk you through a very simple process that I use with service businesses up to 10 million in revenue. I think that's most of the times enough for service operations. As you go into technical process definition for automation, for AI agents to run on, you probably want to use more in-depth operators. But to define service processes, I found this to be the simplest approach you can get away with and not overcomplicate things. So first of all, the first thing that you need is obviously swim lanes, right? It's a swim lane diagram. So each lane represents a stakeholder, somebody who's involved in the process. So in this case, a sales process, this could be the client. If you want to include them, it could be an account strategist, a sales rep, and a sales assistant. When you start capturing that, I recommend using different colors for different tools that you use, which gives you a clear overview of at what point do I use which tools. And I think you need three fundamental shapes. One is the circle, which basically tells you a trigger for the process. It's always the first starting point. To be very open, I typically leave them out because the first box is a starting point of the process, so I'll just don't bother using this. The other thing that you really do need is a decision diamond, which tells you if there's a decision that's happening in the process. And from there, the process can go two different ways. And then these boxes is really, each represents one process step. And I use colors to decode or depict the software tools that I use or the tools in general that are being used. So you also have that information. So now you just really go through it step by step and say, okay, here's the first step, receive a notification about a new lead. That happened, the assistant receives that notification. They validate the client fit, and then you might flag a first issue. And this is what I always have, these red and yellow sticky notes here. Yellow I use for additional context, and red to flag issues. For example, the fit sheet needs updating, right? So you walk through the process collection and identify that. As I'm saying this, I missed the most important piece, which is you don't want to do this alone. If you're the CEO of the company or you run the department or the function, you don't want to sit down and map the process alone. Take the time out of everybody's day and gather the team, specifically the people here that are involved in the process, the most knowledgeable ones, because you want to have the alignment, which is often more valuable than the finished swimlane diagram. And also, you want to make sure that you actually capture how the process is done, now not how it should be done, because these are two different things very often. So you work through this with the team, and then your system might flag, hey, the fit sheet needs updating, or shouldn't this be done by sales, right? And you basically walk through and map these different steps. Diamond basically works in a way where you say, well, what is the action that is in question? Does the client schedule a call? If no, then we go back to here. If yes, and this is where you actually should add the description, so because this is mirror, right? So you can just go in and say yes, and then the process moves on. This way, you pretty quickly arrive at a this depiction of the process. Now, what I would suggest is, and this is how I've been running these for years now, schedule 60 to 90 minutes. Simple process, 60 minutes, more complex process, 90 minutes, and finish it in that time. The reason why is sometimes there's sub-processes that are hiding in here, right? So you could say, perform an audit, right? What does it even mean? So there might be a sub-process involved here. You don't want to go down that rabbit hole in mapping the sales process, which you have here, right? But you want to say, well, this is a pre-built process that we need to map anyway. And there are different operators to show that. Here in the mirror, for example, this would be another process would be this icon that you can use. So the time limit is important for you to not enter into rabbit hole in the first or second step and not complete your process mapping. Try to move fast or with speed through the exercise and not get hung up on individual steps. After the session, it often makes sense to clean it up and then send it for approval so everybody is clear on this is what we discussed. A couple of notes. As I said, first thing is if you use it for AI and automation, you need more granular operators, which are easy. There's process mapping nomenclature that you can use. Secondly, I've found that nobody really works well off of a flowchart. So what that means is, if you say I want to train my team on how the work happens, or I'm onboarding a new employee, it's not a good idea to just say, hey, here's the flowchart, check it out, this is how it works, because people, I find, mostly have a hard time working off such a flow. For that use case, I recommend videos, training, SOPs, etc. This is really, I think, a capture and alignment tool that helps you get clarity on the processes in your company. If you like the video, please hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Thanks.